Good evening, everyone. I am Emily Medvecky. I'm the chairman of the Education Foundation, and I would like to take a moment and welcome our third-year award recipients, parents and guardians, to this prestigious awards recognition ceremony tonight. You have maintained an above-average academic focus for your high school career, and we hope you feel honored this evening. Let's give these students and their families a round of applause. I also want to take this moment to recognize our honored guests tonight. So would our elected officials, our Education Foundation board members, any CMCSS school board members in attendance stand and be recognized? Thank you all for helping us honor these amazing students by being here tonight. We appreciate all you do to invest in the future of this community and recognize the importance of public education. And this time I'd like to ask Clarksville-Montgomery County Education Foundation Executive Director Robin Burton to say a few words.
Congratulations on being here this evening. This academic recognition event is a partnership between the Clarksville-Montgomery County School System and the Education Foundation. This program has grown each year and is truly one of a kind in the state of Tennessee. I want to say thank you to our partners and sponsors for financially supporting this event that tax dollars don't always fund. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Can we give them a round of applause? I also want to say a special thank you to our district senior leadership for your continued and unwavering support of the work of the foundation. I'd like to take just a minute to talk a little bit more about the history of our event. From its inception in 1989, the purpose of the Academic Awards program has always been to honor students in the highest manner for academic excellence in the same way students are honored for other extracurricular excellence. To receive this third-year honor, students must achieve a 93 average throughout the entirety of their high school career with no grade lower than an 85 in any one subject. Over 26,000 CMCSS high school students have received a first, second, or third year academic award, and of that number, 282 seniors will receive their third year award this week. I want to congratulate each and every one of you and also congratulate your families for this significant accomplishment. Let's give our seniors and their families one more big round of applause.
Tonight, we are here to celebrate our high school academic award recipients, families, and guests. Let's be honest, students, maintaining a 93 average all the way through your entire high school career is not easy. So congratulations to you. I'm sure that for each of you, you may be able to think about that one class that you thought maybe would prevent you from being here tonight. Are you thinking of that one class? Was it chemistry, algebra 2, AP calculus? There was one that you thought this may not happen. No matter what class it was for you, you made it here tonight. Seniors, as you sit here this evening, reflect on everyone who helped you, everyone who made it possible for you to be in these seats tonight. Your family, friends, teachers, counselors, principals, coaches, mentors, or maybe there was an individual that really pushed you, that at the time you were not happy about that person, but they helped you to be here as well. My challenge to you is that you go back and say thank you to each of those individuals, to express gratitude for those that helped you achieve your goals. You're about to embark on bigger and greater adventures. No matter where your path takes you, never forget to say thank you for those who help you along the way. To parents and guardians, my wish is that you are cherishing every moment of your child's senior year. As the parent of 4 CMCSS graduates, I know how quickly that senior year goes by. Continue to celebrate your child's accomplishments and always be that safe place to land. Whether your child is heading off to college, technical institute, military, or the workplace, they will continue to need you, even when they think they don't. Students, always remember to call your parents, tell them what's going on in your life, and keep them informed. They will appreciate it. Right now, we're going to practice saying thank you. Parents, guardians, if you could please stand. All parents and guardians of the seniors here tonight. Students, give your parents a round of applause. It is now my honor, you may be seated. It is now my honor to introduce tonight's guest speaker for this evening. Tracy Bettencourt is the owner and artist of Bettencourt Originals. She is a teacher, advocate for persons with disabilities, a former fitness competitor, motivational speaker, and APSU alumni. Tracy began to lose her eyesight in her early 30s from an eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. Although the disease has left her blind, the hardships she experienced have not prevented her from living her life to the best of her abilities. She brings new insight into how art is viewed. Tracy lost her eyesight over 17 years ago, and within the past 10 years, she began painting using her hands. Tracy lives her life structured and uses assistive technology on her iPhone and iPad to help her identify colors. Her hands are her eyes, and textured paints allow her to convey her thoughts and feelings onto canvas using tactile lines. Tracy shared that every day I wake and live in darkness, yet with my newfound skill of painting, I am able to share my unique perception of the world around me as well as conveying the unseen beauty of life. My paintings reflect hope, adversity, love, positivity, strength, and determination. I put my heart, soul, and insight into every piece of artwork. There will always be a mountain to climb, yet I strongly feel no matter what the obstacle, there is light within the darkness, and therefore there is hope. And I must say, if you have not seen Tracy's paintings, they are beautiful. I have one hanging in my home. It is now my honor to introduce Tracy Bettencourt.
A little bit of my story is in 1992, I was diagnosed with an eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. I was only 21 at the time, and 2 different doctors told me about this eye disease. I understood it. They both told me, 2 different doctors told me that I would be blind by the time I was 40. They were right. I lost it at 36, totally. And so when they told me it was retinitis pigmentosa, it is the degeneration of the retina. You lose your photoreceptors, and one of the first symptoms of retinitis pigmentosa is night blindness. So before I even went to those retina specialists, I had issues driving at night. The headlights coming toward me was blinding me more than it used to, and that's why I was able to get checked and whatnot. But anyway, long story short, I was diagnosed when I was 21, and I was in denial for many, many years. I started my family. I have 2 daughters, and then in 2003, the eye disease took my eyesight in my left eye, and in 2006, it took my eyesight in my right eye, and I was down to a pinhole in 2006 with some light and shadow. Now that lasted a little bit, but it wasn't functional vision. And so by the time by 2014, it went totally. Sorry, I get a little emotional. It's been a long journey. So anyway, by the time I lost my eyesight, it was 2014. But when my girls were little, they were 8 and 10 years old at the time in 2003, and then 2006. I had a really difficult time because I fell into a deep depression, the type of depression where sadness just overcomes you. And I pretty much just wanted to wither away. I went down to 90 pounds. I did not get out of bed. And then I have my youngest daughter come to me and she goes, "Mom," because I was a soccer mom, ballet mom, all that stuff. And she goes, "How am I going to get to soccer practice?" And I just told her, I tried to be as strong as I could while I was laying there. And I said, "You know what? We're going to figure it out." And I tell you what, I said a prayer that night. I asked for understanding, and I said, I know what this eyesight is, and I understand the consequences of this eyesight, me losing my eyesight, but what is my purpose in life? And I just started counting my blessings, what I had already. So then the next morning I woke up, and it was the strangest thing. I had this new strength, woke up, took a shower, went out into the living room, and my daughter's like, Mom, you're up. And I said, yeah, I'm up. We need to get you ready for school. Made their lunches, got them off to school, and then, because I was a single mom at that time, and then my daughter, Kayla, my oldest, came home. I asked her, I said, we had the phone book then, and I said, look in the phone book. I need to contact the Department of the Blind of Tennessee. I need to see what resources are available for me, because I worked for a long time, and I know there's something out there for me to become more independent. I mean, I was hugging the walls. I wasn't trained in a cane yet. I had no one helping me. No one knows that, but no one comes to your side and say, hey, we have these resources for you. So anyway, I learned quickly to advocate for myself, called the Department of the Blind of Tennessee. I told them about me. They said they'll send some paperwork in. Well, guess what? A whole month went by. I didn't receive any paperwork. So me being the person I am, and I quickly started speaking up for myself, I got the phone number, called, and found out who my counselor was, because they assign you a counselor when something like this happens. And I said, great. So I had a friend drive me to Nashville, and she pointed me in the right direction of her doorway into her office. And I went into her office, and Ellie would not mind me telling her name. She's since retired, Ellie Parchman. And I went in there, my first voc rehab counselor. I said, Ellie, my name is Tracy Bettencourt. I called over a month ago. I have not received my paperwork yet. I am blind. I lost it to an eye disease. I have 2 daughters to raise, and I need to become independent again. So she'll tell you to this day that I'm the most persistent client she ever had, because I ended up going back to school. I used all the resources I possibly could. They would come out. I lived in Clarksville at the time. They would come out to Clarksville once a month to teach me assistive technology and orientation mobility training. Now, orientation mobility training is with how to use a cane, guide dog, how to find landmarks, how to recognize your spatial awareness, things like that. Even how to eat off your plate. My plate is a clock method, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So anyway, they came out. I would keep them for 3 hours. They're supposed to stay an hour. And I said, I'm sorry, I only get you once a month. I need to learn everything you know on this computer. I need to become independent. And from my other therapist, I need to know everything you know for orientation mobility training. And this is really interesting, because my orientation mobility specialist took me to a local church, and we were downstairs. Now, I did not know they had petitions up in there. She just said it was an open area. And she was teaching me how to use my cane. And I was just touch, tap technique. And then I was going, and I stopped, and she goes, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. I just have a sense of something. She goes, keep going, Tracy, keep going. I touch, tap again, and come to find out, I recognized my spatial awareness. And she said, why did you stop again? She said, that was a petition. You felt it, didn't you? And you could feel how high these ceilings are. I said, yes. She said, that's spatial awareness. That's being aware of your surroundings without being able to see. And so I knew I was onto something then. So after all that, then taking care of my daughters and whatnot, I was still depressed and sad. And so I thought to myself, what am I going to do to fight this depression? I didn't want to be put on medicine. That's the truth. I didn't want medicine or anything. I always admired people in the fitness field, and I always read articles when I had eyesight how exercise and nutrition really helps feed the mind. And I thought to myself, if I can better take care of my mind, body, spirit, I can better take care of my daughters. And so I went on the search for someone, a trainer, who would work with me and train me and just teach me how to eat right and just certain exercises and things. And he was actually an ex-pro bodybuilder, and he helped me in the exercises, weights, and but for myself, for a woman, of course, and then nutrition. And then I got to the point where I was training with him, and I said, you know what, Reggie? I said, I think I want to go to the next level. He said, what do you think? What do you mean you want to go to the next level? I want to compete against people with vision. He said, what? And I said, yes, I want to compete against people with vision. Not so much, more for advocacy, really. I wanted to prove to myself, too, that I can walk on stage just like everybody else and kind of rebuild my confidence again in myself. And he said, do you realize you're going to walk in 5-inch heels? I was like, yes. And so I said, I can do this. I know I can. And so he put me in contact with, she's like my sister today, my good friend now, Tammy. And then she started working with me. She took me to 3 shows. And meanwhile, I'm doing all this. And I'm thinking about my daughters. Every time I do something, even when I walked that stage, I thought about my daughters. And I'm proud to say I worked really hard. Clean eating, nutrition was good, exercise was good, everything was good. I scored in the top 3 in all my shows. And the last show I did was in 2013, the World Show in New York. And I competed against women from New Zealand and Australia, and it was amazing. And I'm very blessed. But I wanted to be judged on my hard work just like everyone else. So I walked the stage like everyone else. And I was no different because they had little blue X's come to find out on stage that they had to be out, and they weren't hitting their mark, so I didn't look any different. So anyway, I did have my trainer, guide me to the proper, and I didn't wear my glasses because I wanted them to judge me for my hard work. And anyway, I would scan the audience where the judges were and went on. So anyway, that was quite the experience. I don't compete anymore. I just live a healthy lifestyle. But going through college, I also advocated for myself too, and Austin P has a great disability services, and I was able to go back to school and get my Bachelor's of Science in Teaching, and I have my teaching certificate, and I keep that active, but I worked really hard and advocated because I want to do my own work. So the disability services at Austin P, I would go and I said, well, I'm doing this now and this now, can I have a DAISY? That's a part of assistive technology that reads things to us. And I said, I have my laptop, it has JAWS on it, job access with speech. So I'm using all these tools to do my work and get what I had to get done. I'm so sorry, I have a lot going on in my head right now. But anyway, I did that, and I do all this for my daughters, thinking that, if I can show them that you can overcome anything, anything is possible. Any challenge is possible. It's just a little road bump. So eventually, when I was taking my teaching exams, I started getting a little fidgety, and my hands just would not stay still. I could not focus, and I told my oldest daughter at the time, I said, I think I need to blind. I think I need to paint. She said, Mom, you can't paint, you're blind. And I said, Kayla, I really think I need to paint. And I said, can you take me to Hobby Lobby? She goes, sure. So we went to Hobby Lobby. We found acrylic paint, which is water-based, and puffy paint. I don't have any art education whatsoever. And so came back, and then I had my canvas, and I'm like thinking to myself, how am I going to relay the images that are in my mind? I was like, oh, I'll use shapes. So I start breaking images down that I remembered, I recalled. You'll see a lot of florals in my work because I used to be an avid gardener before I lost my eyesight. And that's it too. When I lost my eyesight, right before I lost my eyesight, I was staring at my daughters, and I remember my daughter saying, Mom, you're staring at me, you're staring at me. I was like, I can't help it. I just know it's going. I felt it, my eyesight was going. I just want to remember every part of your face. Like I remember my daughter's eyes and how they squint. I remember their eyelashes, and there's just certain things that you remember. And so I soaked all that in. And so as I was painting, how am I going to identify my colors? I am going to use assistive technology, Color ID, and it's an app for us. I was like, cool, so I just scan the tube against my phone, and it'll identify the colors. Okay, now how am I going to work my palette? I'm blind. Clock method, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. When I first started painting, I was only using 3 colors. Now I can use 12 or more, and I still have a good memory, so I still remember where everything is. So I did all that, and then eventually Gary and Linda Shepard from Edwards Steakhouse, they asked me to come on one night, Clarksville Art Walk, and she called me and she said, Tracy, would you mind coming to this art walk and setting up in our lobby? And I said, sure, Miss Linda. She said, now we have an artist in-house right now, but all I want you to do is bring 3 paintings on 3 easels. Now, I've never exhibited my artwork before, I've never sold my artwork before, And so I went, displayed my artwork, and come to find out, each one sold at $300 that night. Then I had an aha moment. Oh, I'm going to start my business, Bettencourt Originals. And then that's when I really started painting and doing things. And a couple years after that, I started doing workshops. I started teaching people how to paint blindly like I paint. So I put a blindfold on them, and they follow my directions. Now, I have volunteers that have eyesight that will help out, because if I say 12 o'clock to someone, they might put it into number 3 o'clock, because they don't live in my world. I've been in my world for 17 years. They're only going to be in it for 2 hours, which is very humbling. They put themselves in my shoes. But it has been a long journey from where I was to where I am today. But just from the assistive technology, orientation mobility training, and it takes a village to get us to become independent. And I'm proud to say I'm very independent, and I'm very proud to be where I am today. And I also had a guide dog a few years back, Wilhelmina. She worked with me all through college. She passed away a few years ago. She was 14 when she passed away. She was a yellow lab. She came from Guide Dogs for the Blind out in San Rafael, California. She was a wonderful animal. She was more like a human. She knew all the buildings at Austin Peay campus by word association. And I would say UC, she'd take me to the UC. I'd say Ellington, she'd take me to Ellington. It was just absolutely amazing. Our bus stopped at the library at Austin Peay in the mornings after it picked me up. And Wilhelmina and I would get off the bus, and I would say library. She'd take me in the library. There's a Starbucks in there. I say Starbucks. She'd take me up to the line. I'd get her a bagel, and I'd get a green tea for myself, and we'd go to my 7 o'clock class. But I'm very blessed to have had her too. But as you can see, I just kept on going and going and going, and plus raising my daughters, and all I could think about is showing them that anything is possible, that no matter what challenges we have in life, we can overcome. And I just keep pushing myself, and to this day, I'm always educating myself. And you know, I still have my mind, body, spirit, educate that, strengthen that. And I might not have my eyesight, but there's so many more blessings that abound and that I see now, even without eyesight. And I guess people joke with me sometimes, some of my friends, like, you don't have eyesight, but you have insight. I said, yes, I do. So I try to stay positive, and I'm much of a go-getter. But I also want to say that it has been a long journey from where I was to where I am today. Blindness does not define me. I define who I am as you define who you are. There are things in life that happen to us that are not by choice, but we can choose how we react, and we can choose how we move forward. Always, this is very important, always have faith in your abilities, believe in yourself, and keep in mind that there will come a time where you will fail, and you'll have to get back up again. Get up, stand tall, keep going. I want all you students to keep up the hard work and the discipline. Keep going. Life is short. Enjoy it. Just make the best of what you have. You're on your journey now. So follow your heart, follow your dreams, make things happen for you. The only person who can do it is you, no one else. And also, I know every one of you are going to do great things in life. And all I ask of you is to learn, teach, inspire, and empower. Congratulations for all your accomplishments and everything that you have accomplished. You've done amazing things the last 4 years. Congratulations where you are today.
All right, Ava Anikov. Chloe Blevins. Olivia Brown. Aiden Claret. Madeline Cole. Melissa Farmer. Jaden Fulton. Sarah Hake. Drew Hawkins. Ava Houston. Chance Howard. John Howard. Mallory Kincaid. Marcel Kotlers. Kendall Luppy. Michael Moore. Ramisa Rada. Robert Ritchie. Caden Rochlow. Alejandro Roman. Elijah Smith. Sophia Sohn. Charlotte Stovall. Tessa Streeter. Carly Sugg. Danny Taylor. Athena Wagner. Azaria Washington. Kirk Weatherford.
Go Wildcats.
Thank you, Mrs. Hedrick, and congratulations to the Clarksville High class of 2025.
O. Malise Nicole Aponte Beleso. Seaborn Molly Blegenhauser. Benjamin James Drew. Isabel Grace Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Parker, and congratulations to the virtual school class of 2025.
Nikwa Bobo Basaka. Ava Bowman. Zamoria Cloud. Dylan Creech. Jada Davis. Ayana Irvin. Salon King. Thomas King. Anthony Krantz. McKenna Lambert. Demaya Langley. Isabel McNeil. Jason Palomar. Sherman Phillips. Anthony Vanover. Nathaniel Wade. Alicia Williams. Congratulations, thank you.
Braylon Bender. Ava Flint. Mackenzie Jeffers. Elizabeth Kennegard. Haley Mans. Brooke Mast. Catherine Rodriguez. David Smith. Ivy Soward. Riley Walker. Bria Wilson.
Thank you, Dr. Papard, and congratulations to the Kirkwood High Class of 2025.
Kendrick Antoine Allen. Jane Sophia Ambrose. Callie Doyle Bohannon. Brianna Isabel Boney. Benjamin Eli Bull. Drew Alexander Campbell. Kalia Mariela Carter. Callie Lillianne Chance. Tatum Marie Curry. Julia Elizabeth Dennis. Grace Geneva Holt. Madison Leanne Knox. Peyton Kelty Lavois. Parker Ryan Landis. Judah Samaya Last. Abigail Caitlin McKenna. Elizabeth Averett Milton. Michaeline Ellen Mora. Duongtamon Piasawat. Gabriana Soberano. Emmy James Sylvester. London Michaela Terry. Shaylee Nicole Woodring.
Thank you, Dr. Casebold, and congratulations to the Middle College at Austin P, class of 2025. Matthew Dominic Bodum. Mary Morgan Chambers. Jaden Deshawn Colbert. Catherine Diane Knatzer. Catherine Elizabeth Cook. Camden Elise Cooper. Hannah Lynn Fisher. Rebecca Michelle Fowler. Avery Elizabeth Harbin. Abby Lynn Page Herndon. Amber Marie Jackson. Emily Nicole Jenkins. Riley Abigail Johnson. Lakin Rain Jordan. Anderson Ryan Levine. Susan Marie Long. Jeremy David Mills. Jackson Matthew Mullins. Jenna Sue Norfleet. Abby Faith Powell. Jackson Gage Pulley. Reagan Elizabeth Reynolds. Emma Chloe Ann Rogers. Helena Rose Rossi. Kamara May Smith. Mila Nikkei Smith. Valerie Renee Smith. Allison Lee Suss. Presley Kate Taylor. Addison Lee Trammell. Michaela Anita Wacker. Thank you, Mrs. Houston, and congratulations to the Montgomery Central High class of 2025.
All right, Henry Alexander. Jeannie Anderson. Javay Charles. Michaela Coates. Alex Dong. Jordan Donahue. Talia Gallardo. Jonathan Garcia. Riley Hannigan. Bea Hermoso. Phoenix Love. Kara Meyer. Jonathan Morton. Benjamin Myers. Morgan Ring. Braden Robinson. Elijah Williams. Jalea Woodward.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. Congratulations to the Northeast High class of 2025.
The third year academic award recipients from Northwest High School: Timothy Earl Burley. Emily Brittany Rose Castleman. Alyssa Ann Dupre. Megan Eileen Flanagan. Casey Lynn Higgs. Tishelle Maya Lee. Mackenzie Grace McPeak. Zoe Adarlo Melendrez. Rashad Malik Minto. Tyvanoria Wambui Munene. Olivia Wren Marie Murphy. Isis Emma Wilcox Palmer. Ricky Alberto Pamblanco. Jacob Aaron Rogers. Jonathan Avery Rogers. Dylan Saman Russell. Callie Michaela Weaver. Yu Chen Wang. Chloe Elizabeth Wood. Please join me in a round of applause.
Jaden Yangu On. Jeremy William Annell. Isabel Grace Barfield. Natalie London Bark. Topanga Anne Marie Bowers. Morgan Taylor Davis. Bryson Charles Deerdorf. Cade James Dieterding. Layla Michelle Demas. Sasha Alexandra Dye. Xavion Gregory George. Eva Elizabeth Greenwald. Alicia Brooke Harris. Houston Patrick Armand Hebert. Chloe Elizabeth Honberger. Aru Tefere Francis Ide. Anderson Cole Job. Nima L'Oreal Johnson. Diamond Amira Tanya Aaliyah Jones. Jacqueline Grace Kelly. Gabrielle Elise Coer. Andrew Jacob Leitz. Isabel Doreen Lovett. Avery Priscilla Lowell. Anna Kate MacDance. Emily Faith Mang. Maya Rose Martin. Michaela Joanne Monahan. Destiny Tony Munoz. Rachel Marie Munoz. Isabella Maria Ochoa. Isaac Emery Manuel Perkins. Justice Alessandra Pillow. Layla Mae Poole. Kaylee Mae Ramos. Avery Elizabeth Rauscher. Caitlin Olivia Richardson. Elias Hayden Ritchie. Victoria Reese Ridgway. Hadley Ann Rudolph. Madison Grace Schwartz. Olivia Christine Shehai. Addison Lane Schur. Stephanie Ray Schumann. Aubrey Rose Skarnovitz. Aiden Jack Smith. Callan Frank Stable. Layla Faith Starmack. Ashton Lane Taylor. Kara Lynn Travers. Colin Scott Travers. Addison Parker Underwood. Andalyn Ramey Underwood. Alana Mae Vandermark. Anais Juliette Vasquez. Aiden James Vitsky. Addison Grace Waller. Thomas William Watson. Josiah Azriel Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Sanders, and congratulations, Rossview High, class of 2025.
Evelyn Renee Alexander. Ariana Gabrielle Anderson. Violet Anderson. Jazana Monteja Bearfield. Micaiah Shantae Bigby. Lykia Rose Amon Boone. Devin Xavier Brown. Ariana Grace Cochran. Jan Cedrix Reyes de Guzman. Sierra Rose Delgado Hanley. Shania Brooke Dickerson. Abigail Shemaya Dixon. Karina Lachey Harper. Damian Ismail Huizar. Elizabeth Hussey. Tiana Lucille Joseph. Corinna Grace Lambert. Zachary O'Brien Lane. Darian Jabrail Lee. Kevin Liu. Jasmine Anaya Lyle. Sarah Susan Matthews. Shayna Mackenzie Octavia Moore. Kennedy Alexandria Mosley. Kylie Annabelle Panter. Noah Alexander Paul. Sierra Olivia Pearson. Jason Alexander Rock. Larissa Janae Sinclair. Ayana Camille Smith. Jonah Theron Soto. Colin Villaluz. Jason Wu. Congratulations, everybody.
This concludes all third-year award recipient presentations for the 36th Annual Academic Awards Program. These students' legacy and hard work will be remembered in each high school. Let's give all of our students and parents one more big round of applause. Thank you again to my board, to the CMCSS board, to our senior leadership. Thank you, Mayor Golden, Mayor Pitts, First Lady Golden, First Lady Pitts for joining us this evening. I appreciate y'all's continued support. Thank you to the communications team for always supporting us in these events, and all your hard work behind the scenes really do make this possible. Please do watch our social media for tonight's pictures. You can find us by searching CMC Education Foundation, both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you again for being here tonight. I wish you all safe travels home. And once again, to the class of 2025, congratulations.